The wire cutting into that lion's flesh wasn't natural. Neither was the river, not anymore. Daniel had seen the changes over the years. Banks collapsing where trees once held firm, flash floods arriving faster and fiercer with each passing season. Upstream farming, illegal logging, roads carved too close to tributaries. The land remembered every wound, and the river carried them all. The lion surfaced again, coughing water, his strength visibly fading now. His strokes were no longer powerful arcs, but frantic, uneven thrashes. Foam gathered around his muzzle. One forepaw struck the surface, slipped, vanished. On the far bank, the pride reacted. A lioness broke formation and stepped forward, wading in up to her chest before stopping abruptly. She let out a low, broken call. Not a command, not a warning, but something raw and helpless. The dominant male remained still, though the muscles in his shoulders bunched tight beneath his mane, coiled with useless power. Daniel lowered the radio slowly. He knew the cost of what he was considering. Intervening meant paperwork, hearings, possibly suspension. It meant crossing a line drilled into him since his first day in uniform. You do not save individual animals. You protect systems, not lives. But systems were already broken. And this lion, this moment, was not happening in isolation. The lion disappeared again. Daniel didn't wait to see how long it would take him to resurface. He turned and ran for the back of his vehicle. The inflatable rescue raft was packed tight beneath emergency medical gear, its yellow skin dulled by years of sun and dust. Daniel dragged it free, hands moving automatically as he snapped the pump into place. Each hiss of expanding air seemed unbearably loud against the roar of the river. Across the water, the pride watched. They did not retreat. They did not charge. They watched him. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Hit the bell so you never miss an update. Thanks for watching. The raft took shape quickly. Daniel slung a rope across his shoulder, grabbed the paddle and utility knife, and dragged the raft toward the riverbank. The mud sucked at his boots, as if the earth itself were trying to hold him back. He paused at the edge. Training screamed caution. A drowning lion was unpredictable. Exhaustion could turn instantly to panic, panic to lethal violence. Even if he freed the animal, there was no guarantee the pride would accept him again, or that they wouldn't see Daniel as prey once the crisis passed. The lion surfaced once more. His roar this time was barely sound at all. Daniel pushed the raft into the water. The current seized it immediately, wrenching it sideways and dragging him off balance. Cold water splashed up his legs as he scrambled in, digging the paddle hard into the river to stabilize himself. The raft bucked and spun, weightless and terrifyingly fragile. Daniel fought the current, angling toward the lion. Each stroke burned his shoulders, his arms trembling with effort as the river tried to tear the paddle from his grip. The lion saw him, golden eyes fixed on the approaching raft, wide and glassy with exhaustion, but alert. A low rumble rolled from his chest, vibrating through the water. Not a threat, a warning, or perhaps confusion. "I know," Daniel said aloud, though the words were ripped apart by wind and spray. "I know." The raft bumped the lion's flank. The impact was gentle, almost nothing, but the lion flinched violently, claws slashing at the water. The raft rocked hard. Daniel froze, heart hammering, forcing himself to stay perfectly still. Seconds stretched. Then the lion stopped struggling. His chest heaved. Water streamed from his whiskers. He remained pressed against the raft, using it, Daniel realized, as a brace to keep his head above water. Slowly, carefully, Daniel leaned forward. The wire was worse up close. It was not just a single loop, but twisted strands, fishing cables snarled with debris, embedded deep into swollen flesh. Blood clouded the water around the lion's leg, carried away instantly by the current. Daniel swallowed hard. "Easy," he murmured. "Just hold on." The lion's ears flicked. His gaze never left Daniel's face. Daniel drew his knife. The moment the blade touched the wire, the lion tensed. A growl vibrated through him, deep and involuntary. Daniel stopped instantly, keeping the knife visible but still. "I won't hurt you," he said softly. On the far bank, the pride shifted as one. They began moving downstream, tracking the raft's drift. The lionesses spread out, positioning themselves near shallower water, while the dominant male advanced to the edge, his massive head lifted high. Daniel began cutting. The wire resisted, biting into the blade. The raft jerked as the current surged, nearly knocking Daniel off balance. He locked his knees and kept working, slicing one strand at a time, aware that one mistake, one slip, could cost him his life. The lion stayed still. Only his breathing moved him now, ragged but controlled, as if he understood that fighting would doom them both. At last, the final strand snapped free. The change was immediate and terrifying. The lion surged forward with renewed strength, nearly capsizing the raft as the dead weight vanished. Daniel shouted, bracing hard, paddles scraping uselessly against water as the raft spun. The lion swam. Not wildly, not blindly. He swam with purpose. Daniel spotted a sandbar downstream, barely visible beneath the roiling surface. A sliver of pale earth where the current broke unevenly. There, Daniel gasped, pointing. As if understanding the gesture, the lion angled toward it, powerful strokes cutting through the water now that his leg was free. Daniel paddled alongside him, fighting to keep pace. From the bank came sound. Low, resonant calls, rolling across the river. The pride was urging him home. The raft scraped sand. The lion lunged forward, paws finding solid ground. He stumbled, nearly collapsing, then caught himself and stood. Water streamed from his coat as he drew in deep, shuddering breaths. Alive, Daniel stayed in the raft, not daring to move. The lion turned. For a long moment, they simply looked at one another, man and predator, both trembling, both changed by the river's grip. Then the lion lowered his head, not in submission, not in threat, in acknowledgement. Behind him, the pride rushed forward. The lionesses surrounded him, touching, vocalizing softly. The dominant male approached last, pressing his massive head against the younger lion's shoulder in a brief, powerful gesture. Then, astonishingly, the pride looked at Daniel. No aggression, no warning, just watchful calm. The dominant male stepped closer to the water's edge, met Daniel's gaze, and dipped his head once before turning away. The pride disappeared into the tall grass, whole again. The rescued lion lingered. He stepped closer to the raft, close enough that Daniel could feel the warmth radiating from his body, smell river and earth and life. The lion lifted one massive paw and placed it briefly against the raft's edge, gentle, measured, unmistakable. Then he turned and followed his pride. Daniel sat there long after they vanished, the river slowly calming around him, its fury spent as though nothing had happened at all. Later, there would be reports, questions, consequences. But as Daniel paddled back to shore, one truth settled deep in his chest. The line between humans and the wild had not been erased that day. It had simply been acknowledged. And the river, reluctant witness to it all, flowed on. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Hit the bell so you never miss an update. Thanks for watching.